Girls, if you're getting forced to watch the UFC this weekend, here's everything you need to know about tomorrow's UFC fight night. It's going to be Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. Let's drill down into the basics first. What is a UFC fight night? Fight nights are under the UFC umbrella. They're UFC fighters, and they're essentially just fight shows. Kind of exactly what you would see on a bigger pay-per-view card, except generally the fighters are not as big stars. They're working their way up. They're getting their reps in. Now you have to buy pay-per-views, but fight nights are usually free on like ESPN+. So fight nights are generally the lower level fights. There's still great fights on there, but here's where you kind of prove yourself. Here's the training grounds. You're testing the way you work. Whenever the UFC deems you're ready, you can move up to the main pay-per-view card, and you might be put in the prelims, who essentially fight first earlier in the day. Then whenever you're ready to play with the big boys, you get moved up to the main card. Every fighter wants to be on the main card ideally. This explanation is very rough. By the way, the UFC can do whatever it wants. It can put you on the main card in your very first fight. Ultimately, it's up to them. Here is the rundown. This is a middleweight fight. They're going to weigh in around 185 pounds. This will be a 5-round fight, even though it's not for a title. Now, the big story about this fight is Izzy here used to rule the middleweight division. He was the tippy top. No one could beat him. But recently, he's had some losses, and he's found himself slipping down the rankings. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, is he done? Like, is he washed up? Or can he still fight for the title again? Sardine, on the other hand, is on his way up. He's never fought in the big leagues, and he really wants to prove himself. He wants to prove that he can hang with the big boys, and one really good way to do it is by beating the guy who was the champ of middleweight for so long. Just to put things into perspective, this is Izzy's first non-title fight in 6 years. To get out of the way, you can see their ages and records. Really quick rundown here on Izzy. He was born in Nigeria. However, he spent a lot of his time and early life in New Zealand, and he feels connected to both. Izzy started training kickboxing when he was 18. He won the Glory middleweight title, and he was just incredible. Notably, one of his opponents back in Glory was Alex Pereira. Because of Izzy's kickboxing background, he is a really phenomenal striker. He'll usually win by knockout or decision. Something kind of fun about him is he's really into anime like Naruto and Death Note and stuff. To remind you how much star power this guy still has. Like, he ruled the middleweight division for so long. Let's talk about Nassourdine. He was born in Dagestan. However, when he was like 9, he moved to France, and he's pretty much considered a French MMA fighter. He's on a bit of a comeback here, right? He's coming off of 3 straight wins, and he's at the point where he really wants to prove that he can hang with the big boys. He is right now the number 5 ranked middleweight. He started combat sports when he was 10 years old. He's got a really bouncy style. He's got really phenomenal grappling. I do think he has the upper hand against Izzy in grappling. That he has no amateur fights. He went straight to professional. He can win in a lot of different ways. In the past, he's won by decision, by submission, and by knockout. This series is sponsored by MyBookie, and if you guys want me to keep on doing fight nights, let me know. Of course, I'm always going to cover the pay-per-views, so keep an eye out for those very soon.